You are listening to All Skins Everything with the Urban Sports Scene on Fox Sports Radio 30, Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Your host are Ray Jeezy, myself, Wole, and the homie Mo. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search All Skins Everything. Also, hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. All right, man. What's good, fellas? Washington had a tough loss today. But what's good with y'all?
Hey, Ray ain't been here in a while. I'm gonna let Ray start it off.
I'm just going to say I have made no secret that I'm not a fan of the Washington
He's not a
football
fan.
team.
That's the real.
However, in the words of my man Mo, I've been bullish. Thank God I haven't seen Power yet, so I get to
You haven't seen
put
Power
it down
yet?
in a good way. I haven't seen this weekend's episode, so
Oh,
I
it
can get over
ain't
this.
come up. It ain't up. It ain't
It
up. It
is
ain't
up.
up.
It's
No, it's
not.
not. It's not this week. They ain't show it this week. I checked.
Oh
Yeah, but
no. So what am I
yeah,
going to
man.
do? How am I going to get over this? Hopefully the Wizards.
Bruh. The NBA. Oh, the Wizards play at 7, so
They
there's a chance. Oh, it is 7. The Wizards
they're
are playing
playing
right
now.
now. Are they
Exactly.
looking good?
Have no idea. I
Dog,
don't
I
even
need a
want to
stress
know.
reliever too, dog. I need
I
a stress
just
reliever
need
too.
something to end my night on a positive note. That's all.
hey, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll talk about the Washington football team losing to the Panthers 20-13, so tough. And we'll also talk about their upcoming game against, well, now the big game, must-win game against the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's get right back to the game. The Washington football team lost to the Panthers 2013. Ron Rivera's supposed to be his revenge game. I know he's pissed. Mo, I'm gonna start with you, man. Your thoughts on the game?
Man, it was up and down game. Turnover field. It seems like Dwayne Haskins can't get out his own way. I think that after getting the late start notice, I think he came out and we was expecting to see something different, hoping to see that this week's worth of practice and all the scrutiny he's been through all week, he would come out and play an inspiring game, right? Come out and try to quiet the naysayers, and he just added to the fuel. He added fuel to the fire for what naysayers have been saying about him. Too many turnovers, man. Two from his arm, one he fumbled away. Already not an efficient offense. Defense has already been carrying the team for numerous weeks. Can't have those. Can't have those in the team against a team that you're evenly matched against, right? Even though they had the better record coming in, you can tell that the Carolina Panthers were close. They've been close a lot of weeks, right? And they came in and they executed today. It wasn't an ugly. It wasn't a blemish-free game on either side. But Carolina just made a little bit more plays.
Wole, you call this a revenge game for Ron Rivera. Well, if that's the case, he didn't get revenge, obviously. And to be honest, they were outcoached. Washington's football staff was outcoached. First of all, the way Matt Rule used Curtis Samuel today was genius. Right? Am I right or am I wrong? Secondly, if you're Scott Turner, why aren't you sticking with the run? You clearly know what Dwayne is bringing to the table at this stage of his career, and the run is working. You're putting this man in a position to where he can now use play action, which will make it easier on him. But of course, Scott Turner doesn't do that. Dwayne, happy feet in the pocket. I'll use D Hall's words. I listened to the 980 broadcast. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, this is a game to win a division, and you allow a rookie coach to outcoach you. Ron Rivera definitely have to self-evaluate. And also concerned that your team just didn't seem like they were ready to play. This is a good defense. We thought they would transition into a great defense. Unfortunately, they're not there yet. And the mental component got there today in regards to Dwayne.
Well, the defense was good. The defense wasn't great. I agree with you. They weren't good. I mean, but they only gave up how many points? They only gave up 13 points, basically.
Not even, because you got to consider it was 2 turnovers. 2 major.
Yeah, so they were good. So basically, they were still. You said they weren't good or good? They're still good.
So they were good. They weren't great yet.
No, they weren't great because I think that
they're not great yet.
Yeah, not great. I think they were like it's hard. They weren't great, but it's hard to even assess the defense because you had a muff fumble that led to a touchdown. It changed the whole momentum of the game. You know what I mean? Like you got a kick off a punt return where it should have been fair caught. Like there's no even thought. The thought process shouldn't even been to try to return it, and he fumbled it for a touchdown. So that changed the whole momentum of the game. The defense really kept you even afloat with Chase Young getting 2 strips on Teddy Bridgewater, one for a fumble and one for an interception. Mm-hmm. It's like the defense made plays. I actually feel bad for the defense. Like to play with this horrible offense, it makes you look worse than what you are. And what I mean by that is I think they're a good defense. They could be great if the offense played complementary football with them. Like when you consistently put them behind the 8 ball, it's hard for them to look great. Like we can look at this defense and say, yo, look at Tampa's example. Their defense is good, right? But look how if you give Brady this defense, it's even better. Like they're even a better team the way this defense plays out. You know what I'm saying? Like this defense, for what it does to keep a bad offense around, is amazing. And like you said, Scott Turner needs to step up. You know, Dwayne was garbage. Scott Turner needs to step up because they were running the football effectively. Like even before Dwayne threw the interception, before the fumble, where it was deflected out of his hands, they were running the ball effectively. Why even throw the football? You're pretty much at that particular time, you're getting almost 5 yards a carry right there and then. You're already in Carolina territory. Why ruin momentum by even letting Dwayne throw the ball at that particular point in time? Because like you said, Ray, get closer, utilize play action.
Yes.
You utilize Logan Thomas when you get closer to the red zone. Instead, you're taking a chance on letting him air it out, and what happens? You turn the football over.
Mm-hmm. You know who you missed today as the Washington football team? Adrian Peterson. And not his running on the field, but his leadership. I think of strong leaders, those who make you uncomfortable. One name comes to mind, Ed Reed. What did Ed Reed tell Joe Flacco? Just don't lose the game. We got you. What did Chris Carter tell Dante Culpepper? We need you to be great. They got in his face. I think Dwayne is being enabled. He's being coddled, and it's not a good thing. I like Chase being a good teammate, running off the field with him last week, but somebody's got to get in his face and maybe hurt his feelings a bit. He said he plays better when he's mad, and clearly he was thinking too much today.
Man, mad is. I think he gassed himself up with the whole mad talk, man. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. I don't go with that. Like, yo, I just got mad. You just do. Nah, you just had to step up. Like that's what it is. It's not about I got mad, because if that's the case, if your career is about to be over in the league, you better always play mad. Like you gotta play mad 24/7.
You got to overcome the mental
what
aspect.
Happened was you got. Like the Carolina can allow you rhythm.
It's just another horrible day on the field, right? 14 for 28. That's 50% passing. We know that's inefficient. That's just every other pass. A lot of it with check downs. He looked like really check down Charlie. The main problem I seen was he wouldn't use his feet. Like to create down the field, or to extend drives, or to get those yards that that the defense can't really account for. That because he has this dual threat ability, even though he's not the greatest runner, but he doesn't utilize it. And you look at the end of the game, right? They bring in Heineke, right? And I'm thinking Ron Rivera must be drinking Heineken. He got to be drunk. You got to be drunk putting him in the game. And then I realized, like, this, for a kid that's only been here 2 or 3 weeks, right? 2 or 3 weeks, Heineke comes in. The first drive he's in there, Cam Sims dropped a big ball for him. Cam Sims drops a
bro, can we talk about that, man? Like, can we talk about that?
Right in there. Like that's where you want it. And that's the difference between that's the difference in that level of receiver that Cam Sims is and what he's not yet, right? So I'm looking at Heineke come in. If it wasn't there, he's taking off. Right? I'm looking at him. He looks at his first read, he gets it out. The third step, lets it go. And he seemed more in sync with the players that he just met on the team than Dwayne Haskins, who was a player who's been here since the beginning. So I just don't understand. I know everybody wants to point the finger at the play calling, but like I think the team was limited, man. The team was limited. Isaiah Wright and Cam Sims being and Stevenson being your primary targets. I think that's a very limited wide receiver room, right? It's a very limited in terms of beating coverage. And dictating coverage or creating space for other right? So I'm not going to make any excuses for DH7 because he doesn't deserve it. But I feel like not knowing that you weren't going to start until late, not having a primary weapon, even though that's not a difference because he's played horrible with him also. But coming into a game where Carolina got a lot of pressure on this offensive line, and the offensive coordinator didn't stick to the run when Gibson had it going for 6 yards a clip. Kind of just played into his demise.
Yeah, I agree. I think all that plays a part, but also some of these dudes were open, and the issue is that. Like you had one. I mean, you did have individuals dropping passes. Cam Sims dropped 2 passes. He dropped one. Dwayne rolled out outside the pocket, hit him right in the breadbasket. He dropped it. To me, when we talk about second wide receivers, especially if you're possession wide receiver, you make those catches. Like you're not asked to make the deep explosive play. You're asked to be the possession wide receiver, and you drop that pass. Then let's fast forward when Heineke, when he gets into the game, he throws you a. Dog, he's not throwing it 100 miles per hour. Dude, it was light. It was light. It was Miller Lite, bro. Miller Lite. It was right there. All you had to do was cradle that thing. Like, all you had to do, and you dropped it. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? Because I've been trying to be like on the Cam Sims bandwagon with folks. I'd be like, you know what? He play hard. He do play hard. And I give him credit. He plays hard. But there's a difference when we talking about being a number 2. Like, that's a pass you make. We're not even asking you to be elite to make. That's a high school football catch, bro. Like, you a high school football wide receiver, you making that catch. Like, you gotta make that catch. Like, I don't care. And especially when we talk about being clutch. We talk about being clutch.
All the ability, man. He has all the ability, and it dates back to Alabama when he was there with Calvin Ridley, right? It's for a reason that he probably wasn't on the field. You know that Nick Saban can't stomach those type of mistakes, right? And he doesn't care what kind of ability you have, but his stature, his speed, and what I thought was his hands before that play, I thought he let the team down on that play right there. I think that was that was still a part of the game where they could have shifted momentum a little bit, put a little bit of pressure on Carolina. Carolina has to come out and sustain the drive, and we kind of know that football doesn't play out that way. But like, if they come out and they score right there, and then I believe there was a holding play further in that drive. There was a holding call where Logan Thomas scored, right? Just shooting himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Time after time.
Yeah.
And the quarterback play is not good enough for the rest of the team to shoot themselves in the foot. They already have to deal with him.
Yeah. And then there was a crucial play in the game where I think the official blew the whistle.
Oh,
they claimed to blew the whistle. And that was a late, and the whistle was blown after the fumble. Like, and if you heard the replay, it was blown after the fumble. And I'm like,
at all.
Like, that's a big play. You know what I mean? Because the defense is trying, again, the defense making a play, right? The defense making a play when this offense needs it. It seemingly made the play.
Right.
And for some strange reason, the official, whatever, it claimed they blew the whistle before the fumble. And if you listen to the replay, the fumble happened before the whistle was blown.
They absolutely blew that call, man. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, that's a fumble. They might not let him advance the ball.
Yeah.
Blew the whistle, but I think the offense another shot. Even though the offense hadn't proven that they could pull on a drive anyway, because they would. I heard the broadcast. I think it was Charles Davis on the broadcast saying that Chase wasn't nowhere to be found in the first half, and he came alive. Right, Chase had a forced fumble. He recovered it himself. He didn't return it this time like he did back in Arizona versus 49ers. But
yeah, I know. I was hoping for it.
He had the pressure. He had the pressure on the Cam Curl interception. Came in and knocked it out. I mean, so I think that the D-line did enough. I think that the defense was keeping them in it. I got to give major kudos to somebody that I've been trashing on here since I came on first show. Ron Darby's been playing excellent football the last.
Oh man, yeah.
He's been playing excellent football the last couple of weeks. Even from the Seattle matchup to this matchup, and watching them today, and like. The defense did what they could do. The defense did what they could do, but they can't be on the field all game. Can't be on the field all game, right? You have to sustain the drive. You have to, at least, if you're not going to score touchdowns, you have to at least give me 10, 12 play drives and then kick a field goal at the end. Give me some time to, catch my breath and let Chase and them hunt again.
I'm glad we're showing love to defense. I just want to say real quick, they have to be better on third down. And also they're allowing their opponents to get in too many third and manageables, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 1s. It's going to be hard to keep a team off the field if they have such a short distance to go for a first down. So that's where they can improve. They definitely need to improve, with another mobile quarterback coming up next week.
I think they can improve on that, and I think they can improve on like being more stymied against the run. And we saw that again. And they were better in this game. Don't get me wrong, they were better against this game. But knowing what their pass rush is about. Like, can be a little bit more stubborn. Because against the Seahawks they weren't, but in this game they were better. But you want to see them dominate that side, like making sure that you get them in, like Ray said, 3rd and long. You want to get any offense that's dealing with this pass rush in 3rd and long, because then you got an opportunity, as we saw, to have Chase Young eat, Montez Sweat eat. You know what I mean? You want to have them on situations where it's 3rd and long or 3rd and long or 3rd and manageable, where these dudes have the opportunity to eat. And if you don't put yourselves in that situation, talk about the defense, then you're not taking advantage of what you have on the talent on that defensive line. But I don't want to put anything on defense, because I feel like they did what they had to do. They made plays, they forced fumbles with quarterback play that was horrendous. Let's keep it. Other than Hanky, quarterback play was horrendous. And to the point where, like, and to Ray's, I'm gonna go back what Ray said too. Also, again, this Carolina team is one of the worst defensive teams against the run, defending against the run. I believe they're 27th. I want to say they're 27th in the league. And you didn't try to pound the football enough. Like, especially even when the game was 0-0, you didn't do it enough. Like, it's like as if you wanted to say, see, Dwayne, we're going to give you the opportunity to do what you got to do. Nah, this is, like we talked about, this is your game. This is your playoff game. You win, you're in. It ain't about, experiments and seeing what your young quarterback has to do. You pretty much know what he can do or what he's capable of doing. Don't put that on him. He's just not that dude.
He is. Agree? He is. He definitely is. And I think that we've seen the last of him. I think with Heineke coming in the game, and the little bit of life that he gave them, I get that the defense didn't have a chance to prepare for him. And a lot of quarterbacks look different with a week of tape and a week of film. But I like the energy that he brought, man. You can tell that he knew where he was supposed to go with the football. And if it wasn't there, he was taking off. He was going to use his athletic ability. He was going to be multiple in what he could do. He gave receivers and tight ends a shot. I like to see Logan come up with that ball across the middle. Yeah. I mean, it was slightly contested, but I like to see Logan make a play for his quarterback. I like to see Cam Sims finish that play earlier. I like to see Steve Sims stop.
Oh, just stop. Just stop. Just stop.
Get the ball and get up the field.
Yeah.
I think he, the punt returner mentality in him gets him in a lot of trouble. Catch the ball, get up the field, live to see another down, put the team in a good position. But some gotta give. And it's perplexing watching this team. It really is. It's really frustrating watching this team. I couldn't imagine being a fan, right? I couldn't imagine being an invested fan.
Poor fans.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Gotta give them something for their heart palpitations or something. It just. I mean, I can't talk much. Big Blue struggling too, but Big Blue, Lamar Jackson, and them made us look like food earlier. But
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I just like to see the offense reciprocate what the defense is giving them, man. And that's what it comes down to. We know, even in Carolina's early days when Cam Newton was figuring out when Cam Newton was having his struggles, that defense coming to play just the same way as this defense is coming to play. But they need to sustain something on offense. And right now, with Terry McLaurin out, it just wasn't any threat. And I know they probably had a pitch count on Antonio Gibson coming back. But if you're going to play him, you got to play him. If you're going to play him, you got to play him. Get a boy his carries. Let him tote the rock, 6 yards a carry. You give him about 10 more. He's over 120. I mean, they're splitting the carries up among so many people that is rendering to be ineffective, right? Because it's not coming from the same source and it's not in the flow of the game. So
you all right?
You stuck over there. They're gonna stump you, bro. Listen, I will say this real quick before we move on. Mental toughness, defense. You know who your offense is. You got to come out with that dog mentality, knowing that you're a defensive football team to win the game. Dwayne, go back and watch Varsity Blues. You never go to the strip club before a game, bro. It's going to affect you mentally before the game. Y'all remember that?
Look,
you
man.
Remember Varsity Blues.
Look, man. I know you're talking about, but like Dwayne, the strip clubs don't mean nothing but in terms of what he did on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like what he did on the field, we should not blame strippers, all right? We should blame him. You know what I'm saying? Let's not blame the strippers. Strippers have done a lot for a lot of people outside in sports. know what I'm saying? In sports.
Pac-Man, call Pac-Man for counsel, baby.
In sports, dude. You know what I'm saying? My man Lou Williams still balls, man. He still balls. And he's been in every strip club. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so, they did not win the title, did they?
They didn't win the title, but he still played good. It wasn't his fault though.
Seriously,
that wasn't his fault though. In terms of the play, that's all I'm saying. In terms of the play.
Can I segue to something? We've been talking a lot of Dwayne talk. How do we see this team coming back from this next year? Are we expecting them to keep Alex? I think it's his last year of his deal. Year? Yeah, keep Alex and then draft a young boy and groom him.
I think they keep Alex. I think they keeping Alex. Yeah, they keeping Alex. Because that contract's still a contract. I don't look at I feel like they'll draft a young dude if the young dude is what Coach Rivera wants. If he's not going to force, like he's not going to draft a young dude just to draft a young dude. Because I looked at this draft class. I'm not that impressed with this draft class anyway. In terms of QBs, I think they're quarterbacks. And where they're gonna land, right? I'm not like there's not somebody where they're gonna be at to a point where we can say like, all right, you know, there's somebody they can groom for the future, because it's almost going to be a similar situation with DH to me with some of these quarterbacks during this draft. So I just feel like maybe you wait it out in 2022's draft. You go, you know, you rock with Alex. I mean, you at the end of the day, man, you know he wins football games with you.
I think
you know what I'm
saying. I guess Kyle Allen's coming back, but I guess Kyle Allen won't be back till mid-season. That's why.
Well, he's not on contract. He will be a free agent. He'll be a free agent.
I mean, off of just being a good guy, they have to sign him back.
Yeah, hopefully.
Can't cut the guy who broke his leg on.
Also, real talk though, depending on who's on the market, who can be cheaper. Like this is my thing. Like, do you think of Kyle Allen over say Cam was on the market, right?
Listen, man, give it up with Cam, man. Give it up.
I love Cam. That's my dude, man. I ain't gonna ever give him Cam.
Superman alone, man. Let him go. Oh wait,
maybe better Kyle. Man, Kyle Allen's better than Cam now. No, we're not saying Kyle Allen's better than Cam.
Cam is finished, man. Cam is fried rice.
If you can't get a rookie, I would take Jacoby Brissett. I would take him.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like Jacoby.
I would take him.
I like Jacoby. I like Jacoby.
1 year until you can get a good draft pick, or until you can draft Tua's little brother. Because we always get the brothers here. We never get the actual star.
Tua brother. Tua brother who?
Tua's brother. He already in college. He already in college park, man.
No, that's not. No, don't do that. That's another problem too. Don't even do that. We talk about.
Leave Tua brother out of this, man.
Thank you, bro.
This man asked for Cam. What's
I always ask for Cam, man. Cam is all right, dog. He ain't had no weapons. Did you see what Cam had to work with? Did you see what Cam had to work with New England? Did you see that?
I told a lot of people last year, Cam Newton without his wheels is problematic. It's
but what did he have in New England though? Like, did you see what he had?
I understand that, but Cam also knew that. Cam should have went to Jacksonville. That's what Cam should have went. I told
more talent than Jacksonville. That's more talent than Jacksonville.
Cam should have went to Jacksonville. As talented wide receiver is, talented the running back. The only problem he would have had in Jacksonville is Gruden. But
yeah, it's another problem. See, it's always a problem. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. That's not another problem.
Cam Newton is no longer the player that he used to be.
I'm just talking about in a bargain. What I'm talking about is like the bargain. If you're going to,
right, you have Jacoby Brissett out there. You have Andy Dalton. Even though
Andy Dalton, no, we're talking about. See, look, these are the quarterbacks that we're talking about. I mean, like I would take Cam.
Well, like I said, get
Brissett. I like Brissett. I like Brissett.
I said get a rookie. You
a rookie. All right. What rookie would you get? Like what rookie would you target?
Zach Wilson is going to be there from BYU.
I like him.
Zach Wilson.
He gonna be top 10. He gonna be where they at.
I don't think he's
gonna be where they at. Though. He ain't gonna be where they at.
10. They got the kid from the kid from Carson Wentz's school.
North Dakota State. Oh yeah, he may be. I like him. I like him more like Zach Wilson.
I think it's Nance. Trey Nance.
No, you're talking about Trey Lance. Trey Lance.
So he's talented there. I like this. I like the kid from Florida.
You like him?
I like the kid from Florida. I mean, I don't think you can deny that.
He got stats.
Yeah,
stats.
I think people are sleeping on the kid from Alabama, even though when you go to Alabama, you're surrounded by a lot of talent. I'm just saying. You don't have to reach for him.
I know you're talking about.
You can get him in the second round. You can groom him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Groom him, not and like it ain't like Ron Rivera's staff is running an elaborate offense, right? Like all they're doing is running and play action, and they're just missing a couple of pieces.
Is that all they're doing? Because they didn't do it today, Mo.
I mean, they didn't. They ran the ball. They ran the ball.
They ran the ball effectively, but they should have ran the ball.
This is not even run like a Ron Rivera Carolina team. I don't even know what this is. Like, I don't even know what kind of offense they're running. Like, they don't run the football. They throw the ball like 40 times, 40, 50. And I'm like, you throwing the ball like you got Brady out there. Like, you got Aaron Rodgers and Brady. Like,
you got to understand that he was up and down initially. Then he got onto a little hot streak, and the toe came, right? Yeah. Gibson is supposed to be the CMC of this team. He's supposed to be the dual threat. I mean, even though they still have a McKissick to be the dual threat, which I don't understand. But Gibson used to be a wide receiver. Like, let him carry you if you drafted him for it. Right?
Yeah, run some wildcat. Run some wildcat.
I mean, let him do what he's there for. You drafted him. Yeah, he was a 3rd rounder, I believe, or 4th rounder. You drafted him.
He was a 3rd rounder.
He's a 3rd rounder. Let him do what he's there to do. He has ability out the backfield to catch the football like a wide receiver. He can run routes. Clearly, it took him a while to get used to the line and to get into the flow. I saw a little bit of hesitation early on. Then he got some, he started putting his foot in the ground, getting upfield. And then once he got to the second level, he's a mismatch for any linebacker or safety. So we started to see him come alive. And he still leads all rookies with a touchdown.
Yeah, get touchdown.
So you saw today on coming back off the injury, missing 2 weeks, 6.1 yards a carry. It just seems like they didn't sustain it long enough, right? They didn't sustain it long enough. They didn't trust him long enough, or they didn't trust themselves.
No, go Ray. No, go Ray.
Just a quick note. Dwayne Haskins just passed up on speaking.
Yeah, the presser
after the game. That's a bad look. That's a bad look.
Man, why do we talk about him?
And do a random statement? You're gonna come out and do a random statement in the middle of the week with a mask on at that when you look like you at home by yourself. And now you're not going to speak to the media again. We clear leadership.
Quarterback. Are we still talking? Like, look, he's not the quarterback anymore. He's not the quarterback anymore. Like, I don't even understand. Like, he's not even relevant anymore for this organization. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Right. He's done on this team. He's done.
Let's move on.
Yeah, man. Sorry. Like, it's a bad look though. To your point though, it's a bad look. It is a bad look. It's horrible.
That's where a leader needs to step up and say, "Be accountable."
You gotta be. Don't you gotta be good to a certain extent to be a leader though? Like
no, I'm talking about somebody else got to get in your ear. That's why I said Adrian Peterson was missed today.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to a point. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like there are leaders on this team, and they have talked to him, but it gets to a point where you can't walk somebody across the street when you grown enough to do so yourself. And I just feel like you grown enough to do some of the stuff yourself. And you feel like you that dude, I talk like you that dude. But when I said this before, and I felt like, I thought he was getting better after I saw last week, but he goes back to it. Like, you do all this talking, but when you playing there on Sundays, you look real scared out there. You look real skittish. All this talk is
we gotta understand, even though he was a 15 pick in the draft, 1st round, kid only played 1 year. He only played 1 year of high-level college football. He was surrounded by elite talent. J.K. Dobbins, I believe 9 people on that team was drafted last year, right? Third behind LSU and Alabama in the draft last year. Players drafted. So you got to understand NFL talent. 3 of his 4 top receivers that year got drafted. Paris Campbell in the 2nd round. You had Terry. I forget who the last one was. And then we have, I believe we got the Giants. We have the 4th receiver, Alex.
Yeah, Johnson. Yeah, Mac. Mac.
So we have him. And then J.K. Dobbins was elite, over 2,000 yards rushing last year.
They talented. Like, they were super talented.
Through the roof. I mean, we should have known that there was an issue when he had to come back against Maryland. When he had to come back against Maryland.
Yeah, everybody uses that game like it was something vicious that, they saw something, but it was Maryland. You're right. That should have been something.
I wasn't high on him in the draft. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't high on Daniel Jones either. But once they get into the breaking down the the quarterbacks and they start looking at him and with a fine-tooth comb. I just saw that he wasn't a player that I would like to lead my organization. I thought 15th. I thought the 5th fit him, right? I didn't think he was a top 10 pick. I didn't think he was a top 5 pick. And it's coming to fruition. We've seen with his preparation, his lack of preparation. We've seen with his immaturity. We've seen with his skittish play and him not being. And then again, he's had 2 different coordinators or 2 or 3 different coordinators in 2 years, which doesn't. If he was doing everything right, that wouldn't help, right? But we know he's not doing everything right, so it just compounds what we already think about him. And I don't think he did himself any favors, but I don't think the cards he's been dealt have been great either.
So someone says, Glenn says, get Matthew Stafford or Dak Prescott. Is that those good options?
They said that Detroit, this is the last year that Detroit is on the hook with him for guaranteed money. And I believe he only has $47 million over the next 2 years of his contract. So they can get out of that contract. For $47 million for a quarterback of Matthew Stafford's, caliber, I think for 2 years, that's, what's that, about $23.5 million per year? If my math is right. Shout out to my 5th grade math teacher, something like that. If my math is right, 3.5, that's a steal, right? That's a steal. Mm-hmm. And he's breaking down, though. He is breaking down. He is one that's going to need better protection from the offensive line. But the thing with Matthew Stafford is he will extend plays. He will throw from different platforms. And he will give receivers an opportunity to be successful. And I think Terry will go through the roof. You think Terry's scary now. Terry will go through the roof with that. I still think, we love Patrick Mahomes' arm, right? We love Aaron Rodgers' arm, but I think we elevate them a lot because of their team success, and we forget that Matthew Stafford been throwing no-look passes for 10 years, right? He's been running left and throwing right and throwing sidearm and underhand. We talk about Phillip Rivers and his funky release, but Matthew Stafford has all that in his bag. When he goes to his bag, I've seen him carry that Detroit team, and they're awful. Like, they're truly awful. Like,
yeah, they don't run the football either.
Oh my God, and oh my God, don't get me started.
Yeah, I'm staying away from Dak only because Dak's coming off a major injury. I don't think that's something you want to take on next season. And Dak is going to be due a lot of money based on his productivity. So I'm thinking Dak is not a realistic possibility. Although if the team somehow were to sign Dak, I don't think I would be upset. But of course, you're concerned about how he comes back. Right. And Dak is a mobile quarterback, but. Speaking of mobile quarterback, go ahead. What you gotta say, Mo? My bad.
The team offered Amari Cooper $106 million last year,
and he wouldn't come. Exactly.
And he wouldn't come. He would have took it if it had been.
Yeah, he would have took it down though. If he knew that, he would have took it.
I don't think money, especially at the quarterback position, is the problem. If Dak Prescott comes right and he plays well, or he plays Dak level of football, and he's that veteran leadership, is money well spent. Because clearly you guys haven't done well in the draft. not you guys, but like clearly the draft hasn't been kind to you all.
Mo emoji. Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm gonna let you have it though. But like I was mentioning, Dak is a mobile quarterback. And speaking of mobile quarterbacks, you got your 3rd one coming up in a row, and a young man named Jalen Hurts, who he's hungry. However, took a loss in Big D today.
Yeah,
how do you go and defeat Jalen Hurts, and now it looks like Deshaun Jackson's back? How do you go and you beat a good Doug Peterson coach team who, even though the Eagles' record isn't good, he's won a Super Bowl. Speaking of the coach, Doug Peterson, and also he's very good at game planning. How do you go and win this game next week?
Same recipe every week. Front 4 has to get home. They have to contain on the way to they have to contain on the way there, and keep him in the pocket because that's where he's his weakest, and they can't let him and Miles Sanders get loose in the RPO game. They let him and Miles Sanders get loose in the RPO game. There's going to be too much play action and too much run opportunities for the back end to hold up. So, but the D-line is at the advantage right now. Philadelphia's offensive line is terrible. It was terrible week 1. It's terrible week 8, week 12. It's going to be terrible next week. It's terrible today. It was terrible today as I was watching after the Washington football team game. So I think this game bodes well for them. I know that Jalen Hurts, everybody loves, the underdog and the backup quarterback is the most popular person in town, in every town, especially when your quarterback is playing horrible. But he's limited in some of the things that he does. He does have an added dimension of running the ball at a tremendous clip, but I think the way this D-line is playing, I think that they can generate enough pressure to support the back end because Philadelphia's receivers can't separate.
Mo, I appreciate you, but we already know that. Here's the big story right here. Listen, if this change of regime is supposed to be implementing a new culture, then that means the training staff is included, and this training staff better get Alex Smith ready, bro. Like if he was close this week, then you better have this man prepared when you have another 6 days to prepare. Because I'm telling you what, I don't care if it's Heineken. I'm saying his name wrong on purpose, or y'all saying Haskins is done. You are not going into Philly and winning that game if you do not have Alex Smith behind center. I'm sorry, call me bullish if you want. I'm just being real.
I did say all of that with the assumption in mind that Alex Smith was going to play.
To Mo's credit last week, though, I'm gonna give Mo love. For Mo's credit last week, he said like Washington would win the game if he felt like against the Panthers that if Alex Smith played, Washington beats the Panthers. He said if Dwayne Haskins played, this would happen. So I'm gonna give Mo credit. Like he is on the Alex Smith train in terms of like this team can beat the whoever, some of these teams on the schedule, if Alex Smith is playing. He believes that
Alex Smith doing Alex Smith things, 200 yards, 205, 220 yards, not turning the ball over, sustaining a drive here and there, extending a play here and there. It all counts, especially the way the defense is playing. I know the defense is playing well, but it all counts because it reprieves them, right? You don't feel like you always have to be out there. You can see, like, the camera has a funny way of finding Haskins with the stupid look on his face, right? The same way they used to find Eli Manning all the time, right? And then it pans over to Chase Young, and Chase Young is just sitting there like, what else do I have to do, right? I've seen that over the course of the last couple of weeks, and like you can tell that the defense is starting to feel like they have to put it all on themselves, and then people are taking chances, and when they start taking chances, then they're getting beat. And I think you have those leaky plays that you guys were talking about in today's game that you would like to see when they're not on the plus side or third down.
Yeah, my man Adams put out there that Fletcher Cox was in street clothes in the fourth quarter against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we all know how mean Fletcher Cox is on the Eagles defensive line. So if he ain't playing, that makes it a little bit easier, playing that team up in Philadelphia. But I'm going to like Hurts thing, the Hurts situation with the combination of Miles Sanders and Hurts. I think that's deadly. We saw that. You kind of saw that kind of combination when this team played the Cardinals with Kyler Murray in terms of running with Kyler Murray and Drake for the Arizona Cardinals in terms of running the read option and running like RPO and stuff that and the dangers that possessed for the Washington defense. So I feel like this could be a challenge though for this defensive unit to know, because you got two explosive entities with the football in Sanders and Hurts. So it's going to be tough, man, for real. And Hurts is playing at a high level. I think also, you kind of, if you're the Washington football team, you got to play with this do or die mentality. The Eagles are now eliminated from the postseason since they lost to the Cowboys. So I believe they're eliminated from it. So it's either between the Cowboys and the Washington football team. So it's a game that, you can't go into the situation thinking.
Big Blue has a chance. And,
all right. Hey,
Big Blue has a chance. It's a hard chance, but they got a chance. It's a hard. You got to beat it's right. You have to beat the Cowboys, right? You have to beat the Cowboys, right? And the Washington has to lose.
And then Washington has to lose.
That's not hard necessarily.
It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not
necessarily hard. We don't.
It's not hard. Sorry.
Jason
Garrett, I apologize, Mo.
So
this is all Skins Errything, Mo. Hey, Mo, this is all Skins Errything. We ain't doing blue. All right.
There's a chance.
We ain't doing blue right
now. But here's the thing. I talked about this being a new regime, right? The training staff, real talk, the training staff is important to get Alex Smith ready. However, coaching, again, I'm going to go back to it. Are you going to be able to match Doug Peterson or outcoach Doug Peterson? I didn't like the fact that you also had 12 men on defense in a critical spot with Carolina in the red zone. To me, that hurt. You get a stop there if that penalty does not occur. So I asked somebody on the show last week, how does Coach Rivera clean up the penalties? And I don't feel like he did that. So the jury is out on him as well in terms of being a closer. I respect what he's done. We all feel like he was a big part of the turnaround this season, but you got to close the deal, brother. You got to close the deal, and you have a chance. You still control your own destiny. I've been preaching all year, but I'm concerned mainly because I don't know if Alex can play or not.
Well, man, this guy
again, the mental is
critic, man. Ray is a tough critic.
I know, ain't he?
I'm not a critic. I'm real.
Coach Rivera came to this organization in February, right after the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Right after the Super Bowl. First thing, scandal. Next scandal. What name change? Cancer. Mm-hmm. Ray, goodness gracious. You gonna pin the penalties on him?
Look, I want to read something that Jason Wright, had tweeted out.
Mm-hmm.
Washington's, president. So he said, gutted for what could have been tonight, but excited for the guys to play a win and get in next week at Philadelphia. Those moments don't come easily in the league, and it's huge for the young team to be in one. Can't wait. Washington football team.
That's called a leader right there. Finally, somebody stepping up.
No,
a dude that ain't on the field right now.
I mean, I still think this game is dangerous. They put themselves in a situation that they shouldn't be in. Let's keep it real, man. Like, regardless of what you want to say, coaching, players, you didn't see the importance of this game. Like, you're playing a Carolina Panthers team that, truth be told, isn't strong. Isn't strong defensively. Teddy is Teddy. Teddy's a solid quarterback, a good quarterback. I like Teddy. But defensively, you did what you need to do to hold down even the threats outside at wide receiver. And so you pretty much defensively did what you want to do, other than a couple of drives where you didn't stop them, the way you probably wanted to stop them. But it gets to this, like, your offense got to step up. And we can blame Dwayne, and Dwayne deserves a lot of the blame. But also, and it goes back to, in this game, what are you going to do as an offensive coordinator, Scott Turner, when you're playing against this Eagles team? This Eagles team likes to bring pressure. They may not have the talent, but they like to bring pressure. So what are you going to do to negate that? How are you going to utilize? We talk about how Gibson wasn't utilized enough. How are we going to utilize him in the screen game? How are you going to utilize him in the screen game? Because if you're going to bring pressure, you got an opportunity to have Gibson leak out for a big screen. Are you going to utilize him in the pass game? Are you going to utilize McKissick more? You know what I mean? We saw how invaluable he was in the winning streak. Will you utilize him even more? Because now defenses are now seeing that, you're going to McKissick in the flat. So they're making sure they're playing that zone to the flat where they can already smack him as soon as he gets that ball. They did the same with now they're paying more attention to Logan Thomas. You're going to have to devise a plan where now, hey, you shown enough that you like to go these guys quick. You're going to have to devise a plan to use them as decoys and try to utilize some of the other weapons. And also, what's going to happen if will Scary Terry play? Because we see that it seems like he's needed. Because after we saw this week, he seems very needed to at least loosen things up for the whole offense.
I think that you guys are penalizing Scott Turner for having an outlet on every play. I think that's why CMC had over 100 catches and 90 catches in all those years in Carolina, right? I think what he's deploying makes sense, but it can't be your first option. I feel like Dwayne Haskins always checks down, right? I feel like he always checks down, and when Alex Smith is in there, he's not going to take a big risk if it's not blatantly there, right? So I think that facet of the offense is supposed to be a protection, because the quarterback play is iffy, even with Alex Smith. But Alex Smith has a long history of checking down. So I don't think that's problematic. I think that's actually pretty genius. I think McKissick led the team in receptions again today and receiving yards. So I think the timing of some explosive screen plays to some key players will actually help. But if we're going to be frank, we need Alex and we need Terry McLaurin to play that team.
ASAP, man. ASAP. Let's keep it a buck, man. That's what it is, bro. It's ASAP. That's what it is. We just gotta keep it 100. We can't.
All right.
You need
That's the key to
somebody
victory. That's the key to victory.
not the ball in harm's way.
You say key to victory, Ray?
No, I said that's the key to victory. Clearly, we all agree. It's Alex is the key to victory. Point blank. He's the difference. This is why you now on a losing streak. You were riding a winning streak. Now you don't have him. It's a losing streak. But he has to be healthy. I'm serious because we saw in the San Fran game he wasn't healthy. He didn't look good. He has to be right. If he's not right, then oh gosh, man, what a collapse it would be. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Washington fans should feel better with Heineke over Dwayne Haskins.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah, over Dwayne Haskins. I'm gonna say that over Dwayne Haskins. But I do think, like to Ray's point, you will feel 10 times better if Alex Smith is your quarterback going into that game against the Eagles. And also, not just Alex. I think we saw it. Scary Terry too. Like Terry McLaurin needs to be on that football field, like as a threat, like at least as a threat, because he opens things up for everybody else. I think we can all agree that when he's out there, he opens things up because you can't have an extra linebacker standing in the flat to see, to guard against the, a screen, a pass on the flat, because you got to now pay attention to Scary because we all know how he runs routes in between and he can hit the go route. So there's so much that Scary Terry does that allows the other individuals to eat and do well. If you don't have that, now you can focus on Logan Thomas. Now you can focus on a McKissick. So now when you have Scary out there, you can't focus on those two. Like you got to focus on Scary because again, he's an in-betweener. He can hit you with the route running, and he can hit you deep for a touchdown. He's that type of talent. So I think it's essential for him to be playing against Sunday. All guns got to be going when you're playing against the Eagles. You got to treat the Eagles like they the Patriots who almost went undefeated, who lost to the Giants. You got to treat them like that.
Preparation, coaching. You got to have this team ready to ball on Sunday. It's win or go home. If you don't get up for this, you shouldn't be playing football. You shouldn't be competing, period.
You got to have players out there, though, Ray. It's hard. You can do all the preparing you want.
Them players got to be there. Their players got to be there. They got to be there.
Coaches coach, players play.
So prediction. Give me your prediction before we jump off this show.
Man, here we go. Go ahead, Mo.
Who's gonna be bullish? Who's gonna be bullish? That's what we need to know. Who's gonna be bullish today?
I keep giving this caveat out there. If Alex plays,
I love Mo, man.
If Alex plays, give me the Washington football team. If Alex doesn't play, give me the field.
Yeah, I respect that, man.
If Alex plays, give me them my 3. If Alex doesn't play, give me that.
Be like Mo, man. Ray Jeezy, what about you?
I'm gonna say 2 things because I gotta take some shots. I gotta take some shots because the team I root for, they historically blew another one today. So I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna pick Washington regardless of who starts the quarterback because I believe the defense is that good to shut down Jalen Hurts, and I think Cowboys will beat the Giants. It won't matter anyway.
Wow!
And I win blue today. I'm wearing blue today for my homegirl though. For my daughter, not for the Giants.
I started to wear my Saquon Barkley jersey, man. I said, no, I'm gonna keep it all skins.
HB, man.
I'm gonna go.
Here we go. I'm talking about Moji. That's what I'm talking about. Man. You know what I'm saying? Now you part of. I'm like Mo, man. If Alex is playing, I think they win. If he's not, I can't go that route. I may be watching the NBA, dude. I may change the channel and watch the NBA ASAP.
About Deshaun,
that's how bad.
Deshaun took the roof off the stadium earlier, so he's back.
You see that? He always do that, man.
He's back.
He do it against Washington too.
And you know how he like to play against the Reds, the Washington team, whatever their name is. Whatever their name is.
Well, he did it to that team too, that name too. He did it to that name too.
He'll get hurt. He'll get hurt. He'll get hurt during the week. He's injury prone. He is injury prone, bro.
He is. I mean, he's
Gordon Hayward.
I'm like the Eagles. I'm like, yo, why even you're eliminated? Do you need to play like Jalen? Like it's cool. Like Jalen's good. Like in the future, why even play Jalen? Like you know what I'm saying?
Scared,
like
man,
look, you play scared. Look, you take it.
I tell you what, I'd much rather see Washington in the playoffs than Daniel Jones. My gosh, no sir. I would definitely, I would definitely rather see Chase Young in this defense rather than watch Daniel Jones. And that man tackled himself. You know what I'm saying? So,
listen,
why Look, man, it's okay.
We ain't gonna go there. Hey Mo, don't even go there. I'm sorry. We'll talk later.
Why do that, Ray? Don't leave him alone, man.
We all y'all tentatively have Washington. I definitely have Washington, even though I'm a little worried, just like y'all are, because of the quarterback situation. But we should leave it at that. It's a sweep, baby. Bring out the brooms. We going Washington. We gonna do this after the playoff game too. We gonna do the
after
same
Hope,
post game.
Yeah, that would sound
Predictions.
good. It would.
Bullish, baby.
Predictions.
Hashtag.
All right, man. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search all Skins Everything with the Urban Sports Scene. Also tweet us and hit us up on Facebook and just look up Urban Sports Scene. But it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for listening. Mo, Ray, and I'm sorry for all Washington fans that this team took a L. Hopefully next week things will be a little bit better, more positive for you all. But anyway, you've been listening to All Skins Everything with the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega, lead us out, big homie.